In our first story, the Ghana Armed Forces says the killing of its captain will not in any way affect the cordial relationship it has with the public. The murder of the army captain and the swift response of the military has since raised concerns, with many fearing it will strain their relationship with civilians. But the Director of Public Affairs of the Ghana Armed Forces, Colonel Eric Agrikwashi, dismissed such fears. He added that the military has strict rules when investigating such matters, but it will not infringe on the rights of civilians whilst carrying out its duties.
This is where communities have been attacked and troops have gone there to ensure that the perpetrators are arrested. It's not only when a military person dies. There have been instances where we've gone in to help arrest perpetrators of some crimes.
Did the military men trample on anybody's rights?
I'm finding this thing difficult to what you are calling the rights. Yes.
Right to freedom of expression, right to privacy, yes, right to movement. Were these trampled upon by any military man on the grounds in the quest to get these men?
If you are performing a duty, you have to apply the rules in such a way that you'll be able to get or you achieve the aim that I've been giving you. And so if we,
what does that mean?
If we went there,
force?
if you want, the person is resisting attack, that is a different issue. But if you come here and say all of you here move to this position, everybody moves to that position, I don't think anybody will even hold your hand and pull you there.
And Interior Minister Ambrose Derry has since vowed that the security services will deal ruthlessly with all involved in the killing of the military officer at Denche Boase in the Central Region. Captain Maxwell Mahama was lynched on Monday by residents who claimed they mistook him for an armed robber. He was stoned to death and subsequently burnt afterwards. In an interview with JoyNews, Mr. Derry also challenged the minority to bring evidence now for him to act. He spoke with Beatrice Edu.
It's barbaric,
once again,
cruel, unjust, and totally unacceptable. It is an act that must be condemned absolutely. And I can assure you that in consonance with what Mr. President Nana Akufo-Addo has said, we are going to pursue the investigation with all seriousness and bring to book all those who are responsible. We are not intimidated by those acts. They are regrettable. Loss of a life of such a great officer who, for his profession and country, has done his best. He didn't deserve this end, and especially that people think they can take the law into their own hands and kill such an officer of such great promise is absolutely unacceptable. So the investigation is ongoing, and we are going to deal ruthlessly with whoever is responsible according to the law. I do not agree that under this government we've allowed anything to go.
Mr. Derry, this is not really about a particular government. Yeah. The argument is that a lot of the time people find it easy to launch mob attacks on others because you don't really get to hear what kind of punishment was given to those who were involved. Can we even cite one example of somebody who was, for instance, jailed for life for being involved in such a barbaric act?
Let me tell you that as a lawyer, there are challenges of getting a conviction for capital offenses such as murder, where there is a mob, because you must identify the person whose blow or whose act led directly to the death of the person. Yes, but you convict people for righteous behavior, yes, and the cases are not over.
But most of the time, there are video evidence. For instance, this incident, we see clear videos of people involved.
We are calling on all of you. We are calling on all of you who have those videos that show it was in the courtroom to bring them. Bring them right now. I'm going to the office. Bring the videos that relate to the court. We have seen videos that relate to the road. But if you have videos in the court, bring them. We have asked that the renewed, the further investigation must include taking statements from all the court officials. And I'm saying, we are inviting, including the minority, bring us a video in the court. Bring it now.
In other news, Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta has been summoned before Parliament to answer questions regarding the recent $2.25 billion bond issue. The minority NDC, citing the lack of transparency and conflict of interest, have since called for probes into the deal and on Wednesday secured a half-hour motion to compel the minister to appear. He is expected to appear before the House next week.
This Honourable House prevails on the Minister responsible for finance to provide detailed information on the recent $2.250 billion United States dollars, $2.25 billion bond, including the full complements of documentation related to the issuance, the participants, the utilization of the proceeds, and the currency in which the bond was settled. Because this is a matter, Mr. Speaker, of grave public interest. And Mr. Speaker, the Public Financial Management Act and Article 181 of the Constitution naturally would have enjoined the Minister for Finance to have demonstrated respect to this august House by submitting same for the House scrutiny and approval. That has not happened, but we do have official statements to the effect that 9.7 billion cedis of 2.25 billion have been released. We passed the Appropriation Act. Any other expenditure pursuant to it must have the attention of this august House. I know that Shiraj is seized with this matter based on a petition pursuant to Article 2 and other interests. I so move.
Mr. Speaker, the preamble of the 1992 Constitution espouses the principle of transparency and accountability, to which the entire country subscribes. The entire country moved to approve in a referendum the 1992 Constitution, which explains why any move for the disclosure of relevant information should be encouraged. The Speaker, we at a point in time sought some information in times past, which space was not granted in this House. But we should move the growing of parliamentary democracy forward. And I think that we should all be supportive of the motion moved by the minority leader and encourage the Minister of Finance to come to the House, because nobody should have anything to hide.
This Honourable House demands that the Honourable Minister for Finance should provide detailed information on the recent $2.25 billion bond, including the full complement of documentation related to the issuance, the participants, the utilization of the proceeds, and the currency in which the bond was settled. Thank you very much.
And thereafter, the minority called a news conference where they accused the finance minister of causing a 5 billion Ghana cedi financial loss to the state. Minority spokesperson on finance, Atokil Siforsen, told the media briefing in Parliament that they believe the deal was fishy.
The use of proceeds, as the minister responsible for finance made it known to the public, he was categorical. He said, indeed, that the proceeds will be used for the purposes of switching short-term domestic instrument. And when we say short-term domestic instrument, we are making reference to 91 days treasury bonds and 182 days treasury bonds. Currently, treasury bonds as of 17th of April is traded, 91 days is traded at 16.35%. The 182 days treasury bond is traded at 16.70%. But what surprises me is that the finance minister decided to go for a long-term debt of 19.75% to switch off a debt of 16.35%. In fact, his actions is woefully causing financial loss to the state. From the calculations, it's clear that Ghana would be better off if we had decided to roll over the existing treasury bonds, which is being traded at 16.35%, instead of going for 19.75%. From the calculations, Ghana will be better off with $330 million if he had not decided to go off on this tangent. In fact, in a year, Ghana would have saved $330 million. So for 15 years running, Ghana will be better off saving approximately 5 billion Ghana cedis, which is in excess of $1 billion. That is why we are saying that he has willfully caused financial loss to the state. I was surprised to hear from the finance minister at the policy briefing. I listened to it myself. The Minister for Finance was saying that he's making a savings of 612 million Ghana cedis as a result of this bond. I don't see where the savings is coming from. In fact, he's not making savings. He's rather causing this country a financial loss. But the argument they'll put across is that they are trying to avoid rollover risk. In fact, you agree with me that the Treasury bond at 91 days and 182 days, there are diverse investors, hundreds, thousands. You and I, anytime you have your money and you want to invest it somewhere, you decide to use it to buy Treasury bonds. So the chances that you will roll over is higher than one single investor at any point in time deciding not to roll over or deciding to get out of your market. So that is why I'm saying that concentration risk, in my opinion, is more severe and more serious than the rollover risk. So that argument, I will not buy it. They should come and come again. Thank you very much.
In the court, 2 Russians and 2 Ukrainians arrested last week for their involvement in illegal mining have pleaded not guilty before an Accra Circuit Court. The 2 were arrested during a tour of the Ashanti region by the Lands and Natural Resources Minister. The court has also fixed June 14 to rule on the bail application made by lawyers for the accused persons. Joseph Akable was there for JoyNews.
First time the case was called was on May 22. Hearing could not commence as lawyers for the accused persons told the court they needed a Russian interpreter to assist them open their defense. On Wednesday, when the case was before the court again, a Russian interpreter was provided by the Judicial Service to enable their plea to be entered. The 4 are accused of conspiracy to undertake illegal mining as well as undertaking mining without appropriate authority. All 4 persons pleaded not guilty to these accusations. Their lawyer, Counsel Dako, then put forward an argument calling for bail for the 4 accused persons. He said the 4 were willing to comply with the court proceedings if they are granted bail. He again said they had no intentions of leaving the country, as well as saying 2 of the accused persons needed urgent medical attention. A trial judge, Justice Abuaji Tano, adjourned hearing to June 14, where he is expected to deliver a ruling on the bail application. For JoyNews, Joseph Akable, Accra Circuit Court.
And before we go, Member of Parliament for Agona Strait Road, Queensta Pokia Sawyer, has donated an amount of $400 to help with the surgery of one of the victims of fistula conditions, as featured in JoyNews documentary, Licking Wounds. JoyNews told the story of the 8-year-old who uncontrollably releases urine and fecal matter. This has resulted in her not being able to integrate properly in society. Madam Pokia Sawyer says she was touched by the story.
I'm contributing a lot to, especially people I don't know. When I hear they are sick and it's that bad, especially when I was a minister in the central region. So somebody just called me about 3 days ago. Am I watching JoyNews? And I said, oh, let me quickly tune in. And then I tuned in, but it was the mother speaking. So I didn't see the little girl. But quickly, my friend forwarded the video to me, which she had recorded from JoyNews. And I looked at it and I was seriously touched. I saw this is a beautiful girl who could not go to school, who could not do anything. And she's being shunned by her friends and, in fact, relatives. And looking at it, I could tell the mother could not afford it. It's not like somebody who can do it and is trying to punish the child. And then I also I heard she was saying she's tried a couple of times to abandon the girl, and then something moved her to carry on. So I want to be the reason why God asked her to carry on, and that I've been the reason. So they said I called into Joy, and then I was told it's $400 to do a surgery for her to be able to come back and live a normal life. So I gathered, I prayed over it, and I've gotten my $400, presenting to Joy, praying very hard the surgery will go successfully so that this beautiful girl will come back and work and grow and be like some of us, especially because she's also a girl.
Now we have to say the Member of Parliament, Quinsta Pukiasoya, is an MP for Agona East. Well, that'll be it for the news we have, the latest news. And the latest updates are also featured on newspapers. We have a couple of them here already. I'll be joined by Mavio Sobajan as we look at those stories. And also we'll look at the various news portals. But remember, you can get interactive because now we're streaming live on our Facebook page, JoyNews on TV. We also have an interactive handle on Twitter at JoyNews on TV. And you can also watch us live on our multi-TV world channel. Just go search the internet and you'll find us. And also my Joy Online TV is our channel on YouTube.